The only thing certain about the war between Israel and Hamas is that it's barely begun. It's now clear that the world will remain on edge perhaps for months as Israel prepares for what seems inevitable, a full-fledged Israeli ground invasion of Gaza, home to the Hamas group.
נכה באימת חורמה וננקום בעוצמה על היום השחור הזה שהם עוללו למדינת ישראל ולאזרחיה.
At least 250 Israelis are dead after Hamas launched a full-fledged military strike yesterday morning. Thousands of rockets rained down on targets, some striking as far away as Tel Aviv. Drones were used to target tanks. An air assault took place with terrorists on gliders. Boats were used as well. Many were intercepted and taken out. But the sight of Hamas soldiers in frontline Israeli towns and the bloodbath that followed represent an unimaginable terror for millions of Israelis who've lived under the protective veil of one of the world's most sophisticated armed forces. Dozens of Israeli soldiers and civilians are being held captive, and the situation within Israeli towns is still not entirely under control.
They attacked dozens of Israeli communities and IDF bases, and they went door to door, house to house in search of Israeli civilians, executed in cold blood Israeli civilians in their homes, and then continued to drag into Gaza Israeli civilians and military personnel. And in terms of the civilians, I'm talking women, children, elderly, disabled, that were dragged into Gaza by the terrorists from the Gaza Strip.
Israel's response has been overwhelming, with the Prime Minister's office approving steps to destroy the military and government apparatus of Hamas and Islamic Jihad for years. As a first step, electricity has been cut off to Gaza, followed by devastating airstrikes that took out several multi-story apartments. Gazan authorities say that at least 232 people are dead, nearly 1,700 wounded. The international response has been immediate and sharply differentiated along traditional fault lines. While America and its Western allies have condemned the assault, Qatar and Saudi Arabia have hit out at Israel, in the process putting an end, for now, to the prospect of the normalization of ties between Israel and the Arab world. Palestinians have always been concerned that this process could end their dreams of having an independent state.
In this moment of tragedy, I want to say to them and to the world and to terrorists everywhere that the United States stands with Israel. We will not ever fail to have their back. We'll make sure that they have the help their citizens need and they can continue to defend themselves.
Saudi Arabia says that it has repeatedly warned of the consequences of the deterioration of the situation as a result of the occupation, as well as of depriving the Palestinian people of their legitimate rights and of not halting systematic provocations against their holy sites. In a more strident statement, Qatar has blamed Israel and says Tel Aviv is solely responsible for the ongoing escalation due to its continuous violations of the rights of the Palestinian people. With the global community sharply divided on the conflict, and with Israel having called up its military reservists, the possibility of even more bloodshed in the days and weeks ahead seems less of a prospect and more of an impending reality. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.